Hi, I'm Ben Holtzlander, and I researched the question, to what extent does political propaganda in North Korea impact nationalism within the country? To get to this question, I looked at two pieces of stimulus material, the first one being a letter from Kurt Vonnegut to a high school where he stated his clear disapproval for the high school banning his book because they did not want their students knowing the information in the book. The next piece of stimulus material that I used was statistics conducted by the Pew Research Center, where they found that Europeans are increasing their support for government regulations on racial slurs against minorities. Both of these pieces of stimulus material both had high themes of regulation and censorship among their citizens or population. This led me to draw me to how North Korea uses political propaganda to increase nationalism and support for their own country. To answer my question, I've found out that the reason that the political propaganda is used in North Korea to increase nationalism, to eliminate all negative perspectives of the country, and to gain their support in order to attack their enemies such as the United States, South Korea, and Japan. In doing this, I did this through three lenses. The first one being media lens, second one being educational practices, and the third one being military aggression. In media lens, I researched how North Korea uses media in order to control what information the people get and the information people don't get. What they do is they provide things such as posters and movies and other sources of media to illustrate a positive view of the country, when in reality the citizens of North Korea are living in high poverty and with low socioeconomic status. According to Dr. Stephen McDowell, who has a PhD in political science and master's in environmental research, he states that since the totalitarian government of North Korea distributes the information to its citizens, they have control of all the information that is given. What he means by this is that since the government is providing the information to its people, that they can control the information to have it reflect on what the country wants the people to know. This is done to help, like I said before, to create a positive environment and make the country seem better than it really is for the people, and make them more proud to be a part of the country, increasing their support for their own homeland. What this does is it makes them support any action that the country wants to take, whether it be simple tasks such as just praising the leaders, the dictators, or carry out military aggression for the country. My next lens is an educational/teachings practice, and what they do in this is throughout every citizen's upbringing as a child, they show them how their country is superior to all others and that their leaders are the best. According to Stephen Denny, who has a PhD in political science and who is a member of CINO-NK, which is an organization that provides scholarly articles about the Northeast Asia, states that history has changed to create an illusion that no one individual can transcend or compare to within the DPKR's founding fathers, which the DPKR is the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea. What he means by this is that no other person in the country is better than their leaders. An example of this is a political refugee who's named An Jung-gwen, who fought against the Japanese imperialism and helped the Koreas get their independence back when Japan was an imperialistic country, had imperial powers over the country. What North Korea does is they change the history for the students, and they tell their students learning this that this man was only a pawn in Kim Il-sung's army, which helped fight against the Japanese imperialism. What this does is it discredits An Jung-gwen's abilities and his achievements, and gave them to their dictator at the time. What this does is it makes their dictator seem more powerful and more praisable and more appealing to the eyes of the people, increasing support and love for their leader, therefore support and love for their country, and willingness to follow their leaders in whatever path they want to, for example, military aggression. My final lens, being military aggression, is how they use all this nationalism to get the people to support their military actions, whether it be joining the military, supporting nuclear weapons, or even help creating the nuclear weapons. According to Lolita Baldor, who works with the National Security of the United States, says that North Korea has developed nuclear weapons that are able to strike military bases on the Pacific, American military bases on the Pacific. In doing this, they were able to start nuclear war, which could be a huge threat to their enemies. Because of this, increased nationalism within the country, they are able to have people help develop their large army and their nuclear weapons and help support attacks against their enemies. These three lenses come together to make North Korea a huge threat. And this is why I propose two solutions. My first solution is to take up arms against North Korea and attack them before they are able to develop nuclear weapons capable of striking the United States or other enemies. But this solution is unreasonable because of three main limitations. The first one being that the second that the United States or any other country were to attack North Korea, they would launch whatever nuclear weapons they have at the moment and could potentially start a nuclear war and kill many people, which is not the main goal of the solution. Another limitation is that if we go against North Korea's army, that we'll be going against 1.2 million army soldiers and an additional 7.7 army reserves, which makes it one of the largest militaries in the world. This would be unreasonable because it will result in many fatalities on both sides of the battlefield, which would be ineffective in helping cure North Korea of their political propaganda. The third limitation is since the whole country is so engulfed in its own pride and its own nationalism, that it would make it unreasonable to attack them because every person fighting North Korea would go down to the very last man. What I mean by this is that since every single person has such a love for the country, they will do whatever it takes to prevent North Korea from falling. This would be counterproductive because it would, in trying to save the people of North Korea, we'll be killing a lot of them, which would not be very effective. My last solution, and also my recommendation, is to encourage South Korea and North Korea to reunite and have South Korea annex North Korea into its government. In doing this, South Korea would have to offer tremendous economic aid for North Korea and provide a smooth and welcoming transition into the country. One limitation of this, though, is that it would be very difficult to encourage the dictator Kim Jong-un to give up his power and to forfeit his leadership and his pride in order to reunite the countries. It would also cost millions of dollars to reunite the countries, and additional millions of dollars to provide educational services to re-educate the people of North Korea so that they get proper and reliable information that they could use to replace the propaganda that had been poisoning their minds since their very birth. This solution would be the best solution because reunifying the two countries will result in no fatalities and would help resolve all tensions between North Korea and their enemies. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben Holtzlander, and this is my presentation.